Hey guys, this is Mike from Reporter Suite, and in this video we're going to be covering the features and functionality that can be found within the latest version of Reporter Suite. I'll start talking about the dashboard, and then we'll head into the custom settings, and then talk about every section you see on the left here: invoices, time tracking, case logs, customers, pays, expenses, and finally reporting capabilities. So the dashboard itself provides a high-level overview. You'll see your statistics up at the top, all of your recent activities spanning invoices, time entries, expenses, case logs, and customers. And like in V2, we have a quick entry here, which not only allows for time and attendance logging, but also the ability to manage case logs, which the page count actually feeds into the page backlog statistic up here, but we'll talk about that in a minute. What's great about the new dashboard is you have the ability to edit not only which widgets are visible, but also how those widgets are laid out. So for instance, if I wasn't interested in having my backlog and my expensed statistic box visible, I can simply hide it, save it, and now going forward when I log in, those boxes won't be present. I can also change the layout as mentioned by dragging on the drag icon and moving things around. For instance, if I wanted my quick entry to be the very first thing that I see on my dashboard, I can move it around. I save these settings, and now when I log in, I've got my quick entry right here at the top left for easy time and attendance or case log entry. So with the dashboard covered, we'll head into the settings by clicking on General here. We've got our basic contact information, pertinent tax information. On the federal side, this is a federal account. We've got our district and duty station, addresses, and then payment terms that are injected into the invoice at invoice creation time, which we'll talk about here in a minute. If I head over to my profile, you'll see we've got the ability to add our custom photo. Our profile, once live, will allow you to accept transcript requests right from a permanent URL that you can enable or disable. This way attorneys can go ahead and request a transcript. You'll get a notification right within the application and fulfill that request. If I head down to the invoicing templates, this is one of the greatest new features within Reporter Suite. On the federal side, the AO has very specific requirements as far as which fields appear on an invoice. But on state, freelance, proofreading, and scoping, there's a vast range of options based on state, district, where you're at. So what we did with V3 is created the ability to manage invoicing templates. And here you'll see that I can at any time hide or show various fields from invoices. And what this does is when I go ahead and create an invoice, let's say a freelance invoice, any setting that or any field that I've decided to hide or show here will be present at invoice creation. And when that invoice is viewed, only those fields that are visible that I've filled out will be viewable. And that's also the case with the proofreading invoice as well. So we can see here proofreading and scoping. We can see here we've got all of our high-level fields that we can hide or show. In this case, everything's visible. If we head down to our rates, on the federal side, we've of course got civil and criminal spanning both private and official. The page rate settings for those non-Reporter Suite users allow you to specify your page rates once, and then when you create an invoice and assign your page count, those rates are auto-calculated. You also have the ability to override your rates at any time by either adjusting it in your settings or when you actually create the invoice for times when your consistent rates don't apply. So if I head over to state and freelance, you'll also see that we've got state and freelance based rates and then proofreading and scoping. What's nice too about V3 is you can also create custom rate types when you create an invoice. So for instance, if the rate type in settings isn't necessarily the one you need, when you create an invoice, you can create it right then and there. If I head under time and attendance and expense categories, these settings are very similar. Time and attendance allows me to add custom time tracking categories. For state, freelance, proofreading, and scoping, this is more for tax reporting and general record keeping. On the AO side, on the federal AO side, you have all of the AO defined categories built into the application automatically. But with this new ability to create your own time tracking categories, you can also create those as well and report against them for your personal needs. Over under attendance cities, same thing. If you've got an area that you cover, it doesn't make sense to have to type in the city each time you want to log time and attendance. So here you add your cities, and then when you go ahead and log that, you'll be able to quickly select from previously created cities. Same thing with expense categories. On the federal side, there's very specific categories. Those are built into the application. But with V3, for federal and all users, actually, you'll have the ability to create your own custom expense categories so that when you create an expense, you don't have to select a category each time or type it in. Under payments, one of the biggest enhancements for Reporter Suite is the ability for people to pay for an invoice directly with a credit card from within the application. And this spans both attorneys, but also proofreaders and scopists. So if a proofreader invoices a reporter, the reporter can actually pay for that proofreading invoice directly within the application. And our payment processor is Stripe. And at sign up, it takes less than 2 minutes to specify which checking account you would like your funds deposited into. And when a payment is made within 72 hours, those funds are deposited directly into your account. If I head under billing just shows you which account type you have. You'll see here that this one is federal, which is why you're seeing a lot of federally oriented fields present. So with the settings covered, let's head back to the dashboard, and we're going to walk through each option over here on the left side. So if I head under invoices, one thing that's nice about our new tabular layout is we can, like in V2, arrange any category by clicking on the column header, but we can also expand columns and filter in cases where type is applicable, filter things by type. So in this case, if I wanted to see only proofreading and scoping invoices that I've received, I can see, okay, I've got one here for 109. I can click on it, and I can see all of the high-level information. I can view the invoice and actually pay for it right here. And in this case, this proofreader has a Reporter Suite account. So once this invoice is paid within 72 hours, the funds for the invoice will be automatically deposited directly into their account. So if I head back here, you'll see I'm going to clear this selection and view my federal-based invoices. One thing that's nice too is we've got Catalyst integration. So you'll see this Catalyst, copy for Catalyst button. With Catalyst 18.5 or higher, within the finish 'em process, under the email settings, you'll see a new Reporter Suite field. If I hit copy for Catalyst and then were to go into Catalyst under the finish 'em process and paste this invoice ID, when I process that finish 'em sequence and the transcripts are attached to that email, there'll also be a link directly to this invoice for the attorney to review. Definitely one of our more exciting features in V3. A lot of this for the existing users, you'll recognize a lot of these buttons. I can copy an invoice, so I don't have to enter all of the base level information again. I can of course view it. I can copy the invoice link if I want to email it out myself. One of the nicer features of V3 is rather than worry about having to print as a PDF if you need to download this invoice, now you can directly download it as a PDF. You can also, of course, print, and as I mentioned before, the invoice can be paid directly from the invoice itself. We also have full pagination support within V3, so I can specify how many items I want to see per page, and then if there was a lot more invoices in here, I would be able to navigate between pages, so you're not having to scroll through an immense amount of records each time. As I mentioned before, we've got new filtering capabilities in here. So for instance, if I just start typing Mike under recipient, I'll see, oh, here's Mike. I can clear this out, and this is the case for all of the fields. And like in V2, you've got your high-level actions over here. I can view the invoice, edit, and of course delete it. From the top here, I can easily access my invoice templates, manage customers, and even view my payment settings without having to go into the settings section itself. So let's head over to time tracking. You'll notice a consistent layout and feature set with the items over here on the left, where we've got our columns, our rows. We can edit, we can delete, we can filter. In this case, I can show all of my official proceedings categorical entries, and here's a custom category that I discussed previously. We can filter against the custom created categories. And again, I can access those categories directly from here without having to go into settings if need be. If I hand under case logs are a new feature for V3. When a case log is created, if I add a page count here, it'll automatically populate back on the page backlog statistic box back on the dashboard, which is nice. If I head into customers, same thing. All of the search and filtering functionality that you'd expect. One thing that's nice here is, in this case, we've got a test invoice out to another Reporter Suite user, and we get a little flag that shows that, oh, they're also a Reporter Suite user. If I go ahead and add a new customer, this functionality has been greatly enhanced. You'll see that we can add an attorney, a reporter, a law firm, or a reporting firm. If I were to go ahead, I'll walk through each of these quickly. If I were to go ahead and select an attorney, it's going to ask if they're with a law firm. If so, which law firm are they with? I can immediately add a law firm if I don't already have their law firm here. And then, of course, add all of their details. Once saved, when an invoice is created, I can simply select which attorney that invoice needs to go to. If I head to reporter, now this is more applicable for proofreaders and scopists. I can see that I can select the Reporter Suite user that I'd like to invoice. So if I were to type in Mike, I can see, oh, okay, here's the reporter that I want to invoice. Their information is automatically populated so that now when I create a proofreading or scoping invoice for this user, Mike, all of his information is populated into the invoice. Couldn't be easier, really. I can create a law firm and a reporting firm here as well. And then if for instance, reporter was part of a firm, I'd select the reporting firm. I don't have any reporting firms entered. And if it was a law firm, this ties back to the selection of an attorney that happens to be at a law firm. So all of the customer creation is happening right within this form itself, instead of having to navigate across multiple customer entries per customer type. If I head out of here, we can also see that I can arrange the customers by type. So for instance, if I wanted to see all law firms, I could see those, and they have a special icon indicating which type they are. Same thing with reporters, attorneys, every customer type. And if I clear it, of course, it'll just show me all of them. I can always arrange things by date added, by name, whatever value I wanted to arrange them by, so I can quickly access that information. Payees is fairly straightforward. This ties into your expense entries. So your payees are easily defined here. We've got their address, account type, if applicable, basic contact information, and of course the name, any optional notes if they've got specific payment terms, things like that you want to, for personal record, keep track of. I'll go ahead and cancel out of here. Expenses, very similar. So on the federal side, you obviously have AO defined expense categories. In this case, we can also define custom categories, and this is where that's managed. And finally, back on our reporting section, you'll see that we have on the federal side, we've got the 40A, both monthly and quarterly, the 40B, the AO39, the 38, and the 37. And then everyone also has the gross receipts ledger and the accounts receivable ledger. Every report is filterable by date, with the exception of those that are quarterly. For those that are quarterly, you just simply select the quarter that you would like to report against, well, the year-end quarter. And all of the information is automatically populated. So that covers the high-level features and functionality of Reporter Suite version 3. If you have any questions, certainly email us at info@reportersuite.com, or hit us on our Facebook page, or view the website itself, which is www.reportersuite.com. Thanks for watching.